If you want to know about U.S. support for Egypt's military, just look on the streets of Cairo. Those M1 tanks are the most visible sign of the billions of dollars that the U.S. gives Egypt. Congress, though, could start reevaluating the price tag, especially if Egypt's new government starts moving in a different direction. Joining us now is Aaron David Miller. He is a public policy fellow with the Woodrow Wilson International Center. He advised 6 secretaries of state. Most recently, he was a senior advisor as well for Arab-Israeli negotiations. He is joining us now on the phone from Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Miller. Glad to have you with us. $1 billion a year. That is what we understand that the U.S. gives to Egypt, has given to Egypt in the past. Should the U.S. raise that?
It's actually $1.3 billion, and if you include the excess defense articles that the Egyptian military gets, you're talking about additional hundreds of millions of dollars. Look, the reality is the military aid can't be seen in a vacuum. It was initially part of the Camp David entitlement, which stretches back to the Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty in 1979, and the deal was very simple. The United States would act as a kind of adhesive to hold together perhaps one of the most critically important aspects of peace and stability in the region. Now, we don't have stability and we don't have peace, but that treaty has essentially served not just Egyptian and Israeli interests, it served American interests. I think the question really is whether or not Egypt remains a Praetorian state where the military dominates not just the national security apparatus as it does now, but the politics as well as the economy. I mean, Egypt's got a $200 billion economy. The Egyptian military controls about 10 to 20% of that through all kinds of holdings. And I suspect we're going to have to respond to the new contract that the reformists in the military negotiate.
Mr. Miller, I just want to pick up on one point that you made. I mean, we've had guests on the program saying that they believe Egypt can find this middle of the road and embrace the Turkish model. Do you think that's true?
You know, there's a lot going for it. Egypt isn't Iran, and the notion that somehow what's happening in the streets of Cairo is 1979, where the malacracy essentially squashed a liberal reformist movement. But there's also another reality. I mean, there's a great many unknowns. Will the secular reformists be able to hang together? What role will the Islamists, particularly the Muslim Brotherhood, who are at odds with the military, play? So I think on balance, I'm more optimistic that, in fact, Egypt will emerge with a measure of stability and become much more democratic. Whether or not that will be to the satisfaction of the reformists, let alone to the building pressures on the Obama administration, is another matter, and the military is going to play a key role there.
The question here, Aaron, is do we reduce the amount of money that we've given them because it looks bad, what we've done historically, or do we increase that to ensure more stability and peace, at least in favor of the United States?
Well, I think what's going to happen is we will adjust upward or downward depending on political events in Egypt. Right now, the military is the only force that stands between instability and a quick and relatively smooth transition. It's the only force right now that is going to be willing to support American policies, including continuing the peace with Israel, containing the Iranians, and counterterrorism. The pressures to revise those policies will grow, of course, as Egypt becomes more democratic and more representative of the sentiments and mood on the street. So we're going to have to wait and watch how this new contract between the military and the civilian authorities are negotiated. But our leverage here remains, in terms of influence, really with the military.
Okay. Aaron David Miller, thank you so much. Public policy fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center. He has advised 6 secretaries of state.